Scorpio Sky, Christopher Daniels, Frankie Zay, collectively known as SoCal Uncensored or
SCU! This is Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the worst podcast I've ever been on. Word.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Catch, Hook, and Shoot, the best podcast you never heard of. My name's Tom. I am your host. Today is Sunday, November the 1st, 2020. I want to thank everybody for watching, listening, and subscribing on YouTube, Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. Thanks, as always, for following on social media. On all platforms, you can find the show at catchhookshoot. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. Make sure you check out prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot for all your t-shirt needs, patreon.com/catchhookshoot for bonus content, and our other web store, catchhookshoot.bigcartel.com, for stuff you can't find on Pro Wrestling Tees. So let's dive right into everything going on in the world of pro wrestling this week, starting it off, like always, with the match of the week. Alright, so this week's match of the week comes from WWE Hell in a Cell last week, and it was the match between Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. I am absolutely loving this storyline with Roman and Jey. Some of the best storytelling that WWE has done in a very, very long time. Just incorporating the family element into it, and it's a great storyline. These two put on a great match. It was the really first ever I Quit match inside the Hell in a Cell, and these guys just beat the hell out of each other. And I saw a lot of people online complaining, oh, it was too long, it was boring, and this and that. I honestly don't know what these people were watching, because I didn't even realize how long of a match it was, because I was sucked into the story that was being told. So I mean, I thought it was a fantastic match between these two guys. Again, told a great story and really, advanced the storyline. And I'm, this is pretty much what I tune into Smackdown every week to see, is where this storyline is going. This is what I'm, this is what I want to see on Smackdown every week. So, match of the week this week from WWE Hell in a Cell, Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso. If you haven't seen it, go back and check it out. It's definitely, it's definitely worth your time to check this match out, because it was very, very good. So moving on to the next segment here, it's my top 3 highlights of the week, and it is called the 3 Count. Alright, so first up on the 3 Count this week is from Monday Night Raw, the Firefly Funhouse and Moment of Bliss segments with Bray Wyatt and Alexa Bliss. This again is another great, not really a storyline, but just kind of seeing where these characters are going with Bray and Alexa. I'm very impressed with the character change that Alexa Bliss has gone through the last couple of months, being associated with Bray Wyatt and The Fiend, and seeing Randy Orton on Moment of Bliss, and you can just see the difference in Alexa's character. And then The Fiend came out, and she's just kind of sitting up on the turnbuckle, just enjoying the carnage that's going on. And it was just some really great segments. So I don't know if they're working Bray Wyatt and The Fiend into the world title picture, or exactly what's going to come out of that, but I'm definitely interested to find out. Number 2 on the 3 Count this week from Impact on Tuesday night. Who the hell shot Johnny Bravo? That's what I want to know. They're having the typical wrestling wedding in the middle of the ring with Johnny Bravo and Rosemary. All of a sudden the lights go out, you hear a big bang, and lights come back up. Johnny Bravo's laying on the mat bleeding from the chest, and Tommy Dreamer comes in, checks him out, and screams no. And it just an entertaining segment, and I am willing to bet pretty much anything that this is a Tommy Dreamer creation, because there was, of course, back in the ECW days, a time when Dreamer wanted to literally get shot in the ring, like have a professional shooter in the crowd and just give him like a flesh wound or something. And of course, Paul Heyman, one of the better decisions he made with ECW was kind of nixing that, because you can't be firing a live rounds in a crowd like that. But the way Impact did it, it was an empty arena. Obviously, lights went out. You just heard the big bang. So they did it pretty well. But again, with Impact, I'm really, I don't know, I'm a fan of this whole anything involving Rosemary with Impact. I am a fan of Rosemary, so I'm definitely going to continue watching and finding out where this is going to go. And third on the 3 count from Friday Night SmackDown, the opening promo of the show with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso in the ring, and basically just the raw emotion that you could see coming off of Jey Uso telling Roman he hated him and he doesn't respect him, and all this kind of stuff. It was just very, again, great storytelling with this storyline with Roman and Jey Uso. So that is the 3 count for this week. So moving into the news and rumors and things like that. First of all, let's go through the WWE Hell in a Cell pay-per-view with the results. Of course, I already talked about Roman defeating Jey Uso in that I Quit match. At the end of the match, Afa and Sika were at the top of the ramp, greeted Roman Reigns, and gave him the the symbolic beads around his neck, proclaiming him the tribal chief of the family. Elias actually picked up a victory over Jeff Hardy in their match. The Miz defeated Otis, so Miz is now once again Mr. Money in the Bank, so we'll see exactly how and when he cashes that in. And in the midst of that match, we saw Tucker actually turn on Otis, hit him with the briefcase, and that's how the Miz was able to pick up that victory. Sasha Banks defeated Bayley in another great Hell in a Cell match. This would be a close second for match of the week, would be Sasha and Bayley. They put on a fantastic match in Hell in a Cell, and Sasha is the new SmackDown Women's Champion. Lashley defeated Slapjack in kind of an impromptu match. This one wasn't announced beforehand, but it was a U.S. title match. Slapjack from the Retribution stable. And then Randy Orton defeated Drew McIntyre to become the new WWE champion. Kind of disappointed with this one, not with the match, but with the result. I was really hoping McIntyre would retain the title for a while longer, but WWE had other ideas. So moving on to Monday Night Raw, we're getting the Survivor Series teams are starting to come together for the Raw versus SmackDown. Apparently NXT not involved with Survivor Series this year. It's just going to be Raw versus SmackDown. So on the Raw side, we had AJ Styles, Sheamus, and Keith Lee qualified for the Monday Night Raw men's team. And on the women's team, we've got Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Mandy Rose, Dana Brooke, and Lana are the Raw women's Survivor Series team. So yeah, it looks like Lana is getting a little bit of a push here. She's being pushed as kind of the underdog, I guess you could say, because she keeps catching, not really catching beatdowns, but she's been put through the announce table like 5 or 6 times by Nia Jax, and this week was no different. Same thing happened at the end of her match where she qualified for the team. Sorry, lost my place here. Also for Survivor Series, we're going to see champions versus champions. Bobby Lashley is going to be taking on Sami Zayn, the U.S. title versus the Intercontinental title. Of course, these are non-title matches. It's just for brand supremacy. New Day going to be taking on the Street Profits. Asuka will be taking on Sasha Banks. Roman will be taking on Randy Orton. So it's going to be all of the respective champions from each brand taking each other on. Moving on to NXT, this week was their Halloween Havoc event, and it was very good. I was actually pleasantly surprised. I didn't have real high expectations going into this one, but I thought it was a really, really good show. Johnny Gargano did pick up the victory over Damian Priest for the North American Championship, and this was a spin the deal, make the wheel match, and it was not a coal miner's glove on a pole match, thank God. It ended up being a Devil's Playground match. It was basically a no-holds-barred match. There was interference from somebody dressed up as the Ghostface character from the Scream movies, interfered and helped out Gargano in his victory, and that same person actually tried to help out Candice LeRae in her in her women's championship match against Io Shirai, but Shotzi Blackheart intervened in that one, and so Io Shirai was able to retain in what was called a tables, ladders, and scares match. This was also a spin the wheel, make the deal match. Again, another very, very good match between Io Shirai and Candice LeRae. Now, the rumor going around online is that the person that was dressed up in the Scream outfit was Indy Hartwell. We've seen the last couple of weeks she's kind of been helping out the Garganos with their matches and things like that. So it appears she's going to be associated with them in one way or another. I'm sure we're going to find out more about that in the next few weeks, exactly what that relationship is going to be. We saw Pete Dunne make his return to NXT and immediately turned heel. And this happened during a segment. Pat McAfee was in the ring with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. Was talking about how, he enlisted the help of Ridge Holland to take out Adam Cole at the last takeover. And then he enlisted Lorcan and Burch after they injured Holland and put him out. This time, Kyle O'Reilly, who was kind of the last man standing from Undisputed Era, came out with Pete Dunne. Looked like Pete Dunne was going to be helping Kyle O'Reilly out, and like I said, he immediately turned heel, attacked Kyle O'Reilly with the chair, and he is now part of Pat McAfee's group that he's got going on. So he's got a strong group going. I mean, Pete Dunne, Danny Burch, and Oney Lorcan. That is no joke. That is a brutal, hard-hitting group that he's got, and I'm anxious to see if he's going to add anybody else, if Ridge Holland is going to be part of that group when he comes back, if the group is still a thing. I mean, apparently Holland's going to be out for a while. He's got a broken leg, so I'd guess at least a couple, 3-4 months, who knows. So I'm interested to see where this is going to go. Kind of an odd match that took place during Halloween Havoc. Cameron Grimes versus Dexter Lumis in a Haunted House of Horrors match. And this was started off as a cinematic match in an actual house, and there were like zombies and stuff like that running around, and did end back at the Capitol Wrestling Center, as they call it, at the WWE Performance Center. And Dexter Lumis was victorious in that one. But like I said, all in all, I was pleasantly surprised at the Halloween Havoc show. I thought it was pretty good. Moving on to Smackdown, they also had their qualifying matches for their Survivor Series teams. Now, on the men's side, Kevin Owens and Jey Uso so far have qualified for the men's team, and Bianca Belair is qualified for the women's team. We found out next week Carmella is going to make her return, so it'll be interesting to see where exactly they're going to go with Carmella's character. And then we saw another segment in the ring with Buddy Murphy and Aaliyah Mysterio. Murphy basically came out, said he wanted to apologize to Dominic and to Aaliyah's family for everything that he had done while he was associated with Seth Rollins. Dominic and Rey Mysterio did not come out when he asked them to, but Seth Rollins did. Seth Rollins got in the ring trying to talk Murphy into coming back, being his disciple again, saying that he would accept Aaliyah as well. Then Buddy Murphy, attacked Seth Rollins. Dominic did end up coming down to the ring and jumping on Rollins as well. Rollins left the ring, and then Murphy and Dominic started fighting. Aaliyah trying to separate them. This brought Rey Mysterio down to the ring, and basically ended in Aaliyah proclaiming that she loves Buddy Murphy, and saying that she's not going to go with Rey and Dominic. And it's a weird angle to me. I mean, it's I don't know. It's it's not a new angle in pro wrestling. It's just I know a lot of people are taking issue with the fact that Aaliyah is 19 years old. She's still technically a teenager, and Buddy Murphy's like 35. But when it comes down to it, I mean, Aaliyah's an adult. She obviously made the decision for herself. If she has signed on a short-term contract with WWE for the storyline or whatever it is, I mean, she obviously made the decision for herself to go ahead with the storyline. I would assume she got the blessing of her parents, because they're involved in the storyline as well. So I mean, if all parties involved are okay with it, I don't think anybody else should really have an issue with it. Now if she was underage, that would be a totally different story. If she was like 16, 17 years old, totally different story, and it would be a felony. But she is an adult. She obviously has made the decision to participate in this WWE storyline, so let's just leave it at that. Just watch and enjoy, guys. I mean, come on, it's just television. It's not that serious. But then coming up next week, we're actually going to have a rematch between Bayley and Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title. So if Bayley does get the title back, it'll be Bayley versus Asuka at Survivor Series. And at the end of the show, when Jey Uso qualified for the men's Survivor Series team, it was in a match against Daniel Bryan. Jey Uso was victorious. But then after the match, Roman Reigns came down, and we saw a very, very vicious heel turn from Jey Uso. Just continued just beating Daniel Bryan down after the match, and just mercilessly, inside the ring, outside the ring, and so looks like Jey Uso is firmly with Roman Reigns now. I've got some NXT UK news. Haven't reported on them in a little bit. They did start back up a few weeks ago, but honestly, I haven't had a chance to catch up with NXT UK since they started back. So that's on me. But they've got going on right now I forgot the name of the stupid tournament they have going on right now. The Heritage Cup, that's the one. It's been going on for a couple of weeks, and it was an 8-man tournament. The men in the tournament: Alexander Wolf, Noam Dar, A-Kid, Flash Morgan Webster, Dave Mastiff, Joseph Connors, Trent Seven, and Kenny Williams. We are down to the semifinals now. The two semifinal matches are going to be Noam Dar versus A-Kid and Dave Mastiff versus Trent Seven. Now, if I had to pick the final for this one, I would pick Noam Dar and Trent Seven as the final, but I have a feeling that maybe Dave Mastiff might end up picking up the victory over Trent Seven, but we'll have to see. The semifinals are coming up this week on NXT UK, and the rules of this tournament are pretty interesting. The matches consist of 6 3-minute rounds with 20-second breaks in between. All the matches are 2 out of 3 falls. Falls can be won by pinfall, submission, or countout. Once a fall occurs, that's the end of the round. The match ends once either wrestler has 2 falls, so it doesn't have to go all 6 rounds. In the event of a DQ or a knockout, the match is over. So somebody gets disqualified there, or knocked out, that's it. Their opponent is the winner right there and then. And if all 6 rounds are completed, whoever's ahead on falls wins the match. So apparently that would, make it a 1-fall contest. It doesn't really say, if what happens if there's a tie, looking at the rules here, but apparently there haven't been any, so I would assume there probably won't be any. And also Jordan Devlin made his return to NXT UK, still carrying the original NXT Cruiserweight Championship. And this is interesting because they made mention a lot about Santos Escobar being the NXT Cruiserweight Champion, and how Jordan Devlin, not happy about somebody being a quote-unquote pretender to the throne and things like that. So, I would definitely think once travel is a little bit more, less restricted, I should say, we're eventually going to see Santos Escobar taking on Jordan Devlin for the, to unify the NXT Cruiserweight Championships, or, maybe they'll have a Cruiserweight champion in the UK and one in the US. Who knows? Not really sure how WWE is going to handle that, but they're definitely keeping it in people's minds that there are 2 Cruiserweight champions at the moment. And then the main event on NXT UK, just another brutal, hard-hitting match with Walter defending the NXT UK Championship against Ilya Dragunov. And looking at these guys, you would think it would be a mismatch because Walter definitely has a big size advantage over Dragunov. But this match was just back and forth, hard-hitting brutality. Both guys just beat the crap out of each other. I mean, it was a great match. If you haven't seen this one, if you haven't checked out NXT UK in a little while, go back and check this one out because these two put on an amazing match. Moving on to AEW, Hangman Page defeated Wardlow to move on to the finals of the Championship Eliminator Tournament. And on the other semifinal of that tournament, Kenny Omega defeated Penta El Zero. So the final is going to be, as predicted by most people, Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page coming up next weekend at Full Gear. Then we saw a town hall meeting with MJF and Chris Jericho. MJF still trying to get into the inner circle, and Jericho basically challenged MJF to a match at Full Gear. So that's one I want to see. I'm making an early prediction that match could steal the show with Jericho and MJF, because they both play the cocky, conceited, arrogant, cowardly heel to a T, but when it comes to in the ring, they're both amazing in the ring. So I can't wait to see that match. And if MJF wins that match, he gets to join Inner Circle. If not, then he's out. Cody Rhodes retained the TNT Championship against Orange Cassidy in another great match with these two guys. And this one was a lumberjack match. Now there was some interference from the Dark Order behind the referee's back and behind Cody's back as well. Jonathan Silver jumped in the ring and knocked out Orange Cassidy, and that's really what allowed Cody to pick up the victory. So I'm not sure where they're going with that, if the Dark Order was trying to help Cody, or exactly what's gonna go on with that. So we'll see. But I think the business between Cody and the Dark Order definitely not finished. And then we also found out that Hikaru Shida will be finally defending the AEW Women's Championship against Nyla Rose at Full Gear. Nyla has been the number one contender for a little while, and she is the one who lost the Women's Championship to Hikaru Shida, so we're finally going to get to see that rematch between these two. I've got some Ring of Honor news. Marty Scurll is no longer listed on the Ring of Honor roster page on their website. Now, this is relating back to the speaking out movement that happened over the summer, where so many people came out and spoke out and named names and just spoke out about all of the sexual misconduct, just to use kind of an umbrella term to cover everything. So there was so much stuff that was exposed. But the sexual misconduct that went on in wrestling, and Marty Scurll was one of the names that was named at that time. So basically at that point, Ring of Honor kind of took him. He hasn't been fired that I've read about at this point, and he had just signed a new Ring of Honor contract, which came as a surprise to a lot of people, because I think everybody expected him to go to AEW with the rest of the Elite. But his new contract actually also made him the head booker, which those duties now are being taken care of by Delirious. He has been removed from the Ring of Honor roster page, so he is, I would say, at best inactive at this point with Ring of Honor, and possibly, I don't know what would be involved in terminating his contract, if there would be some kind of huge payoff they'd have to make to him, or whatever it might be. But it's not looking good for Marty Scurll with his Ring of Honor career. And the finals of the Pure Championship tournament are set. Surprisingly, it will be Tracy Williams taking on Jonathan Gresham. Now, I had predicted it would be Jonathan Gresham and Jay Lethal in the finals, the tag team champions going against each other. But Tracy Williams was able to edge out the victory over Jay Lethal. So it'll be Tracy Williams and Jonathan Gresham. I cannot wait to see that match coming up. Should be this next weekend, I believe. So I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for that one. Moving on to Impact, Rich Swann was able to retain the Impact World Championship in a rematch, an impromptu rematch against Eric Young to kick off the show. We found out that the Knockouts Tag Team Championship tournament is going to be starting in 3 weeks to crown new Knockouts Tag Team champions. Su Yung will be defending the Knockouts Championship against Deonna Purrazzo next week in a rematch from Bound for Glory. Still no news on Kylie Ray. Impact is keeping a pretty tight lid on whatever's going on with Kylie. Hopefully everything's good with Kylie. Kylie Rae, of course, one of my favorites, just ever, and one of the nicest, sweetest people you ever want to meet. So I don't know if there's something personal going on with her, or maybe this is a storyline thing. I don't think so. I think this is a real life issue that's going on. But whatever it is, hopefully, hope to see Kylie back on Impact sooner rather than later. We saw Rich Swann have a couple of confrontations backstage. First of all, with Moose, the self-proclaimed TNA World Champion, and then with Sami Callihan and Ken Shamrock. So Swann has no shortage of challengers for the Impact World Championship. We'll have to see who is going to be the first one to come after that title now that seemingly Swann is done with Eric Young. And then we saw another confrontation with Moose with Willie Mack. Now that is a match I would not mind at all seeing. So hopefully we'll be getting that one sometime soon with Moose taking on Willie Mack, most likely for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. We finally have a date for the return of MLW to TV. They will be returning on Wednesday, November 18th on their usual outlets. I personally watch it on YouTube because don't get the TV channels that they appear on here in Chicago. But MLW returning to TV Wednesday, November 18th. So about a little over 3 weeks away, or a little over 2 weeks away. Excuse me. So looking forward to that because MLW is one that I've missed. So I can't wait to see them back on. Some NWA news. We've got a new NWA World Women's Champion in Serena Deeb. She actually had her first title defense this past week on Dynamite and was successful in that. She retained her championship, and Serena defeated excuse me. Oh man, my brain is just not working today, guys. Serena Deeb, the new NWA World Women's Champion, and defeated Thunder Rosa for that championship. Took me a minute to remember her name. I cannot believe that. But and there was a rumor floating around that the reason Thunder Rosa dropped the title was because she was signing with WWE. Billy Corrigan himself actually chimed in on that and said, no, Thunder Rosa's under contract with NWA through 2021. So that rumor was squashed rather quickly by Billy Corrigan. So, that's going to do it for all the news and rumors for this week. So right now I'm going to throw it over to Charlie G, and he is here with your Indie Cut.
Thank you, Tom, and hey to wrestling friends. I am Charlie G with your Indie Cut. I'm going to begin with some discouraging indie news, and we all kind of knew this was coming. But Beyond Wrestling, Glory Pro Wrestling, and St. Louis Anarchy have all shut down production for the rest of 2020. Beyond Wrestling put out a tweet and Facebook post about canceling their upcoming tag show and pretty much closed down for the rest of the year. They said there will be no more live shows, live events, but you never know with Beyond Wrestling if they do a closed door match at the end of the year. So stay tuned to that. Glory Pro and St. Louis Anarchy are closing pretty much due to regulations being set by the states. Here in Illinois, Region 4 is rolling back again and closing down and limiting the number of people to venues. So both of them have closed down for the rest of 2020. If any of you did have tickets to their events, contact them for your refund or whatever, and they hope to be back sometime in 2021. And then check out their YouTube pages or any other thing to help their promotion during this while they're closed. So check them out if you can. That's Beyond Wrestling, Glory Pro Wrestling, and St. Louis Anarchy. Now to CML, now to wrestling, and I'll update you on that CMLL fight from last Friday. There was a women's world title match, 2 out of 3 falls, of course, where Princessa Sukit defeated champion Marcella to become new champion. Then in the CML World Tag Title match, 2 out of 3 falls, it was Christico and Mystico who were champions, and they defeated Teton and Valador Jr. As of last night, Valador Jr. was not in the match that I noticed, so hopefully all is well with him. Now we go on to Saturday, October 24th, Russell Pro Dream 16, Day 2020, Day 1, from New Jersey. They had first round tournament matches with Max Caster defeating Gangrel, Brian Pillman Jr. defeating Brad Hollister, Bobby Wayward defeated Habib and the Car Wash. From the Car Wash. Sorry about that. TJ Crawford defeated Richard Holiday. Micah Taylor defeated Elia Barras. Aaron Rourke defeated VSK. You might have seen him on Dynamite this week, being slaughtered by Sean Spears. LSG defeated Ken Dixon. And in the final match was Nick Stapp defeating Rennie Pacifico. Then on to Idaho Wrestling Club. Dia del Los Muertes 2020 for the Russell Club Potato Bowl title match. Champion Jay Cruz defeated John Henry. And no DQ match, Rick Knight defeated Marcus Anderson. Then went to Wrestling for a Cause 9th anniversary show from Tulsa, Oklahoma. For the Hometown Heroes title match, champion Tim Rockwell went against Dmitry Alexandrov to a no contest. In their tag title match, the Real Dirty Brawlers, who are champions, defeated Paul Puerto Rico and Tino Valentino. And for their heavyweight title, no DQ match versus career match, Sam Stackhouse defeated champion Alex Royal to become new champion, and I guess to retire Alex Royal. On to Universal Wrestling Enterprises in Cadillac, Michigan. I love this name, that's why I put it. Chris P. Bacon defeated Austin Spicoli. And in their tag title match, Kevin O'Reilly and Meat Hook Sobannon, who are champions, defeated Kyle Blanchard and Nick Green. Total Psychopath Wrestling Holla Wicked from Maryville, Tennessee. In a Lego death match, J.W. Dalton defeated Sasend. In a Monsters Ball match, our friend the Beastman defeated Hunter Wolf and Mason Martin. Check out Beastman's Twitter for this one because there's a clip of him busting through the floor as he left the ring. So look up the Beastman Wrestler if you want. Beastman Husk, I believe it is. He exited the ring and both feet went through the floor, and he just kept on going. So it's a must-see, I gotta say. For the TPW heavyweight title, champion Steve Burns defeated Miles Millennium. In a non-title casket tag match, I would like to see this one, Briar Wellington and Matt Raby defeated Keith Gavins and Mike Kiganen. In their main event, it was a death match with John Wayne Murdoch defeating J.W. Dalton. Then there was Total Chaos Wrestling Nail in the Coffin from Taylor, Michigan, where Dread King Logan defeated Shane Douglas. Yes, the same Shane Douglas from the Triple Threat, from ECW, Dean Douglas from WWE. So Shane Douglas is still technically wrestling. Who knew? Then on to Titan Championship Wrestling, Goddesses of War 3, Halloween Ground, from Ocean Gate, New Jersey, where Holodead defeated Vita Von Starr, Christina Marie defeated Layla Hirsch, Danny Moe defeated Ray Lynn, so both of those were at Warrior Wrestling before. Their Goddess title match, champion Vicious Vicky defeated Gabby Ortiz, and in a no holds barred match, Riley Shepard defeated Lady Frost. On to Synergy Pro Wrestling from Paulsboro, New Jersey. KTB defeated Kit Osborne. Matt McIntosh defeated Wheeler Yuta. That was actually a good match. For their Synergy Cruiserweight Crown number one contendership match, Casey Cantal defeated Ellis Taylor. On the Cruiserweight Crown title match, champion TJ Crawford defeated Casey Navarro. In a Synergy title number one contender four-way match, Eric Corvas defeated Deshaun Pratt, Frightmare, and The Whisper. And for the Synergy title three-way match, Brandon Kirk, who was champion, defeated Jordan Oliver and Warhorse. On to Southern Violence and Wrestling, The Evil Dead from Athens, Georgia. They had a hardcore title buried alive match, which Chop Top defeated Ryan Murdoch, who was champion. So Chop Top is your new champ there. On to Platinum Championship Wrestling, Swamp Rules from Covington, Georgia, where they had a Dealer's Choice title squeal like a pig match, where champion Hold My Beer Hansen defeated Marco. Now, I don't know if that was Marco starting or some other Marco, but Hold My Beer Hansen won a match. On to Livewire Wrestling Final Encounter from Augusta, Georgia, in a LW title steel cage match. Matt Sells defeated champion Jeremy Cruz to become the champion. Over to IWA Mid-South 24th Anniversary Show. We are IWA from Indianapolis, Indiana. For the Mid-South Women's title match, Thunder Kitty defeated champion Haley J to become new champion. In their heavyweight title match, champion Jay Chris defeated Flash Flanagan. In a Vixens of Wrestling title three-way match, Jessie Bell defeated Alex Crowley and Amazing Maria to become the champion. In a body bag match, Zodiac defeated Pompano Joe. And then the last main event was Manswarner defeating Kevin Giza. Then, as you all know, Impact Wrestling Bound for Glory was on. That was actually pretty decent main event pay-per-view. If Kylie Ray, if you're out there listening, we're behind you, and whatever you do next, do what you gotta do. Don't worry about everyone else. Do what you gotta do. On to Girl Fight. IWAP Anything Guys Can Do from Mount Vernon, Illinois. They had a Girl Fight tournament, which Jocelyn Navarro defeated Megan Myers. Kenzie Page defeated Abby Vec. Raven Black defeated Ms. Hyde. And Mickey Knuckles defeated Katie Dream. So in the semifinals, it was Kenzie Page defeating Jocelyn Navarro. And Mickey Knuckles defeated Raven Black. And in their tournament final match, Mickey Knuckles defeated Kenzie Page. There was a fist combat brawl for it all from San Diego, California. For the fist title match, champion Slice Boogie defeated Ryan Kidd. For their combat tag title match, Joseph Dredd and Randy Order defeated champions Hawkamelon and Pickle Jim. I haven't seen them in a while, so nice to see they were back in action, but they lost. And then in the Fist television title match, Eddie Eastless defeated Hero Gigolo to become new champion. And to Coastal Championship Wrestling, Hardcore Heaven from Nashville, Tennessee, where they had a ladies title match with Camille Brickhouse, Camille from the NWA. She defeated Marina Tucker by DQ, so she's not new champ. Then there was Bram defeating Bugs Morgan. And in a hardcore match, Sabu defeated Alex Ocean. So nice to see some NWA talent still wrestling other than on UWN Net Live. Then there was an American Combat Wrestling World Wrestling Network co-promotion from Tampa, Florida. Nothing really important there. Then up to Real Canadian Wrestling, Saturday Night Fights from Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. KB6, who was champion, defeated Machete. Yeah. And in their Canadian heavyweight title, champion Heavy Metal defeated Son of Irish. Then over to Pure Power Wrestling, Nightmare Before Halloween from Lethbridge, Alberta, Canada. In a heavyweight title 60-man Ironman match, Sydney Steele defeated Travis Copeland 3 falls to 2 to become new champion. Then finally over to Japan, Pro Wrestling Wave, Kabuki Cho Weekender took place. New Japan Pro Wrestling Road to Power Struggle Day 2 took place, where most of these are teaming up with Great O'Karn and Will Ospreay and finding out how to beat Okada and some tag team partner of his choosing. That's pretty much how the rest of the Power Struggle is going to go until the main event. So I don't have to go into those matches. Dragon Gate of Victory Day 13 took place. All Japan Pro Wrestling Raising an Army Memorial Series Day 3 took place. Yeah, nothing really took place there. Then down to Adelaide Championship Wrestling Evolve 30 from Prospect, South Australia, where they had an Evolve title match. Champion Riley defeated Joe Mundo. And in their heavyweight title match, champion Matt Hayter defeated Zach Sabrath. Then on to Suplex Pro Wrestling, Chapter 20, from East Sernuk, South Wales, Australia. So Australia's running a couple shows, nice to see. In their Suplex Tag title match, Matt Gage and Miles Malice defeated champions Alex Irvin and Nate Carlo to become new champions. Then on to a promotion. I'm not sure if they're copying a name or having their own, but there was a Warrior Wrestling. There's another Warrior Wrestling company out there and they had a One Hunga Showdown from Auckland, New Zealand. So New Zealand, you're on the map, even though with a wrong name. Where Hanare and Jamie Tagetsu defeated Dave O'Connor and TK Cooper. So Hanare and TK Cooper are back in New Zealand to help out. On to Sunday, October 25th, Wrestle Pro Dream 16 Day 2. We got the quarterfinal matches of Bobby Wayward defeating Micah Taylor, TJ Crawford defeating Max Caster, Ellis G defeating Aaron Rourke, Brian Pillman Jr. defeating Nick Stapp. In a ladies match, Lady Frost defeated Tracy Taylor. In those semifinal matches, Bobby Wayward defeated TJ Crawford, Brian Pillman Jr. defeated Aaron Rourke. And in the finals, it was Bobby Wayward defeating Brian Pillman Jr. Tough to see Brian not win that one, but probably cool nonetheless. Then there was H2O Wrestling Hardcore Hustle Organization Matt Tremont Retirement Party, where it was Team Tremendous of Bill Carr and Dan Barry defeating Effie, of all people, at Matt Tremont. Then All-Star Pro Wrestling from Bethany, Oklahoma took place. We're in their 5-star title match. Brawler Morrison defeated champion Gemini to become the champion. Then there was a Pizza Party Wrestling Bout for Clout 1999. If you want to see that at independentwrestling.tv, check that out. Then on to International Wrestling Revolution Group from Mexico for their Intercontinental Middleweight title match. Dragon Bane defeated champion Demino Inferno to become the champion. Over to Japan, where Actress Girls And where when a show took place, DDT Road to Ultimate Party 2020 took place, where Shima was back in action, defeating Soma Taiko. In the KO'd six-man tag title match, eruption of Katsura Higuchi, Saki Aki, and Yukio Sakaguchi, who are champions, defeated the Disaster Box of Kazuki Hirata, Naomi Ishimori, and Yuki Uno. And then right after that, for the KO'd tag titles, Eruption defeated the champions of Naomi Ishimori and Yuki Uno to become the champions. So that's pretty cool to see. World Women Pro Wrestling Diana show took place with a Halloween Battle Royal. So check that out on YouTube. Pro Wrestling Freedom show took place. Ice Ribbon, New Ice Ribbon 1077 took place. New Japan Road to Power Struggle Day 3 took place. Then on to Stardom, Goddesses of Stardom League Day 5. And the Goddesses of Stardom Tag League matches. Don Domundo of Himeka and Siri with now 4 points, defeated Stars of Hanan and Saya Linda, who have 0 points. And Stars of Mayu Iwatani and Starlight Kid, who have now 2 points, defeated Mina Sarakawa and Tam Nakano, who also have 2 points. And they introduced Mina as part of their Stars group, so that was nice to see. Check that show out if you want. Then on to Rev Pro Revolution Epic Encounters 4. That was live on Twitch. So subscribe to Rev Pro Wrestling on Twitch for further shows coming up. They plan to do more. Will Ospreay defeated JJ Gale. For the Rev Pro Undisputed British Women's title, champion Giselle Shaw defeated Bea Priestley. And that was a really good match. On to Monday, October 26th, for the Marvelous title, Women's Pro Wrestling. There's an Asuka, Mai Hasazuki, and Mio Momono defeated Mikado Shindo, Rin Kadukario, and Takami Irua. Pro Wrestling Wave, where Siri defeated Sakara Hiroto, and then later on, Siri went against Nagase Nazaka to a 14-minute, 44-second draw. Over to Pro Wrestling Academy Black Label, Premiership Day 2 from South Wales, Australia took place. Westside Extreme Wrestling Catch Grand Prix Day 1 took place, where Cara Noir defeated Midhan. Then October 27th, Tuesday, Westside Extreme Wrestling Grand Prix Day 2 took place. Sunday Girls Pro Wrestling Keep Burning show took place. Pro Wrestling Noah Prelude 2020. In a 6-man match, Go Shiozaki, Kaito Kimura, and Suhei Tamaguchi defeated Katsuhiko Nakajima, Kanoi, and Yusuke Inamura. Then back here in the States for United Wrestling Network's Primetime Live number 7. For the CWFH Heritage Heavyweight title, champion Ray Rojas defeated Kevin Martinson. For the NWA World's title match, I'm sure y'all heard about this. Serena Deeb defeated Thunder Rosa to become the champion. So let the Thunder Rosa speculation begin, even though Billy Corgan's saying she's still with the NWA. And then in their UWN World Title Tournament first round match, Chris Dickinson defeated Peter Avalon. I suggest you check out next week's show where Davey Boy Smith. Oh man, I can't remember, but they have the tournament's going on, and there are going to be more matches next week. Then to Ohio Valley Wrestling, 1107 took place. Check that out on YouTube. New South Pro Wrestling from Hanseyville, Alabama, took place, where Derek Neal defeated Shug D. Heavy Metal Wrestling, New Texas Pro Wrestling Grand Prix took place from San Antonio, Texas. This was recorded, so for the UHMW Undisputed title, no DQ match, champion Kiefer Bardick defeated Kylie Ray. So people saw this and wondered why she was in Texas and not at Impact. It was recorded, but still a cool match nonetheless. Then October 28th, Wednesday, Westside Extreme Wrestling Day 3 took place, where Avalanche defeated Fast Time Mundo, or Mudo, sorry about that. Pro Wrestling Noah Premier Prelude 2020 took place. Yeah, that's okay. New Japan Day 4 took place. Ice Ribbon Peace Party number 59 took place. Then Limitless Wrestling The Road Season 2 number 2 took place. Nothing really of importance to there. IWTV The Masked Wrestler Show number 3, where Wildcat defeated Marmalade, who turned out to be Lady Frost. That was a pretty decent match. Up to Thursday, October 29th, Westside Extreme Wrestling Day 4, Vincent Heisenberg defeated Tristan Archer. New Japan Day 5 took place. Stardom Day 6 took place. Start with that. Gods of Stardom Tag League match. Stars of Mina Sarakawa and Tam Nakano, who now have 4 points, defeated Stars of Hanan and Saya Ida. For the Future of Stardom title match, champion Micah defeated Saya Kamatani in a very good match. And then for the Wonder of Stardom title match, champion Julia defeated Himeka. And that was a really good match between those two. So check that out if you can. High Tension Wrestling Camp Leapfrog, things that go bump in the night, in ring, open swim, and out of the pool took place. Cool shows, where there was an IWTV Independent Wrestling title match where champion Warhorse defeated Violence. Then here in Chicago, AAW Professional Wrestling Alive number 2 from Marionette Park, Illinois took place. Fatal 4-way match of AC Romero defeated Braden Lee, Cody Lane, and Travis Titan. That was a good match to start out the show. Sky Blue defeated Sierra with her standing sliced bread in a very nice match. The one called Manders defeated Ace Perry with his Iowa Stampede. ACH and Fred Yehai went to a 20-minute draw in a very good match. Matthew Justice defeated Jake Christ with a frog splash onto aluminum siding, which was covering Jake. This was a very hard-fought match. Blake Christian defeated Stephen Wolf with a wild cradle roll-up. And on a side note, Stephen Wolf was one of Tracy Smunner's last trainees. So rest in peace, Tracy. Your boy did good on this night. For the AAW Tag Title match, Ace Austin and Man Fulton, who are champions, defeated Angel Dorado and Gringo Loco. Airwolf was injured. I'm guessing at the AEW show he did. But Ace Austin did his chokeslam blockbuster off of Man-Man's shoulders to the pin Angel to win. And then Hakeem Zayn and Kareem defeated Jake Something and Mance Warner. This was Hakeem Zayn, who is their Heritage Champion, pinning their heavyweight champion, Mance Warner, in a pretty decent match between those guys. Then Friday, October 30th, Westside Extreme Wrestling in Germany. Faceless defeated Norman Harras. Big Japan Tag League final round took place. Level Up Wrestling School Blackout Boogie from La Mesa, California took place. Then for the Hardcore Hustle organization, the last Extravaganza weekend, Day 1 took place in a no-rope barbed wire 200 light tubes death match. Ricky Shane Page defeated Matt Tremont in his last professional wrestling match. But we'll see how long that lasts, right? So on to earlier today, October 31st, New Japan Pro Wrestling Day 6 took place. Ice Ribbon 1078, October Ice Ribbon Fest 2020, where Aja Kong and Ibuki Hashi defeated Ayako Sato and Himeko Hoshi in the Fantastic Ice title TLC match. Champion Risa Sera defeated Mayu Ukahai. Sorry about that. In their International Ribbon Tag Title match, Hiragi Kurumo and Muchi Miyagi, who are champions, defeated Maika Azaki and Rina Yamashita. And for the Ice Infinity title, champion Suzy Suzuki defeated Hiraka Umesaki. There was a 666 Volume 99 Halloween show took place in Tokyo. Big Japan Pro Wrestling Strong and Junior 3 matches took place. Nothing really important so there. So that's a wrap for me. Till next time with any more indie news or shows that come about. Check out 901 Wrestling on Twitch if you can. They have a show coming up later tonight. The info's in the Twitch stream over there. Don't forget to look up more of those YouTube channels and any Twitch streams from wrestlers that are still available. They're still out there, hopefully. I hope you enjoyed the cut. Thank you for watching or listening. Stay safe, take care, and be kind, everyone. Back to you, Tom.
All right, thanks a lot, Charlie. So let's keep it moving right along here. Let's get into the next segment where I get to play kind of armchair promoter here, and I am talking about the Fantasy Booker. All right, so we are continuing with the CHS faction tournament that's been going on the last several weeks. We have another first round matchup this week, and it is Evolution, Triple H, Ric Flair, Randy Orton, and Batista against the Radicals, Eddie Guerrero, Perry Saturn, Chris Benoit, and Dean Malenko. Now, this one, you know, I think most people would just automatically pick Evolution because, I mean, look at the look at the group of guys, you know, Triple H, Ric Flair, Randy Orton, and Dave Batista. But I'm you know what? For me in this one, I went with the Radicals, and people are not going to like that. I understand, but you know, when it comes to just pure wrestling talent, you're not going to find a better grouping of guys than Guerrero, Saturn, Benoit, and Malenko. You're just not. I mean, at that time, you know, at the time that the Radicals were a thing, Benoit and Malenko were the two best wrestlers in the world, and Eddie Guerrero was right up there with them. Eddie Guerrero had all the charisma, and you know, he had the high flying, and Perry Saturn was just probably one of the most well-rounded wrestlers out there as far as submission wrestling, grappling, striking, and even a little bit of high flying himself. You know, so I gotta I don't know, maybe it's just a sentimental thing with me, but I got to give this one to the Radicals over Evolution, and people are going to hate this one, but you know what, it is what it is. I mean, you know, Eddie Guerrero, one of the greats of all time, Chris Benoit, it's Chris Benoit. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and sing his praises all day, but you know, in his time, he was the best wrestler in the world, and I don't think too many people can argue with that. You know, same could be said for Dean Malenko, one of the all-time greats, and I believe I named him as probably the most underrated wrestler in history, just simply because he was undersized, you know, at the time. In today's wrestling, Dean Malenko would thrive. Like, I would love to see a Dean Malenko versus Daniel Bryan match. Oh my God, how good would that be? But so yeah, I'm giving this one to the Radicals with the upset over Evolution. So the Radicals moving on to the next round of the CHS faction tournament here. So as if that wasn't enough of a hot take, I'm going to move on to my next segment here, where I give a little bit of an unpopular opinion, and it is the weekly hot take. So my hot take for this week is this: WWE forcing wrestlers off of third-party platforms like Twitch and Cameo and Mixer and YouTube or whatever, or taking over wrestlers' Twitch channels and things like that, is complete bullshit. Honest to God, WWE has zero right to do this. And now I can understand for the wrestlers who use their ring name on their Twitch channels. You know, I get that. They, you know, if they don't want them using their ring name or any WWE affiliated logos or, you know, stuff like that, fine. I get that. I take no issue with that. That's WWE owned intellectual property. I get it. But when it comes to somebody like Paige, who, you know, when this mandate came down, the first thing that Paige did, changed the name on her Twitch stream to her real name. You know, she changed it from Paige to Saraya. So I don't understand the issue. You know, the only logical reason I can see for WWE doing this, it's a power move because they want to own everything, even remotely related to their superstars, who are independent contractors, by the way, have every right to seek outside avenues of income. But it's a power move. It's all about control, and it's a money grab. You know, it's a cash grab by WWE, because some of these streams are very, very lucrative for these wrestlers, and now WWE's seeing, you know, oh, they're making X amount of dollars doing this stuff outside of WWE. Well, we should be getting a part of that. Well, no, you really shouldn't. You have no right to it. You know, you have no right telling these people what they can and can't do in their own on their own time, with their own name. In Paige's case, you know, and especially in Paige's case, she's not wrestling. She has no active full-time role with WWE. So I don't get it. And I mean, why does WWE have a problem with their wrestlers interacting with fans? You know, I mean, I don't get it. It's bullshit. It's a cash grab. It's all about control. And there's idiots arguing online, oh, well, WWE has every right to do that and this and that. And, you know, well, whatever. You're idiots. Okay, plain and simple. You're morons if you're on WWE's side in this. You have no clue what you're talking about. And if it was being done to you, you'd be having just as much of a fit. So don't even sit here and tell me you wouldn't, because you're a lying sack of shit if you do. And I have had this discussion with somebody online. That's why I'm a little adamant about it, because he was just a lying douchebag saying, oh, I wouldn't have any problem. Bullshit. You know, you're making what I think somebody estimated Paige as making like $40,000 a month from her Twitch stream. And WWE's going to come in and take, what, 70% of that? Screw you. You know, you're telling me you're going to be okay with your employer coming in and taking, you know, like, let's say my day job wanted to come in and take 70% of whatever revenue I was making from this podcast. Kiss my ass, you ain't having it. It's just not going to happen, period. You know, this is mine. I own this, and you cannot have a piece of it, period. So, anybody who says different, anybody who says they would react differently is just a straight up lying sack of shit. So, yeah, that's my little rant for this week. That's my weekly hot take. WWE, it's just, it's very questionable at best, them trying to do this. I mean, if WWE themselves want to have a Twitch presence, hey, great, create a WWE Twitch page and have, different wrestlers on there, every day or whatever, just doing different stuff, and, but let them have their own thing too. I don't understand what the problem is with a wrestler having something of their own. It makes no sense whatsoever. So, yeah, that's my hot take for this week. WWE is pulling off a cash grab. That's all they're doing. So anyway, that's going to wrap up the show for this week. Next week, the show will be dropping on Saturday, either late morning, early afternoon, so that I can get my preview and predictions out for the AEW Full Gear pay-per-view taking place Saturday night. So make sure you tune in, check that out next week on Saturday. But until then, again, thank you to everybody for watching, listening, and subscribing on Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts from. Make sure you're following on social media on all platforms. It's at catchhookshoot. Head to patreon.com/catchhookshoot for bonus content, prowrestlingtees.com/catchhookshoot for t-shirts. Our other web store, catchhookshoot.bigcartel.com for t-shirts and hats that you won't find on Pro Wrestling Tees. And if you ever want to shoot me an email, it's catchhookshoot@gmail.com. So with that, I'm going to sign off for this week. Hope everybody has a great week. Enjoy all the great wrestling coming up, and I will talk to you guys soon.